Let us go ahead and look at this given expression. They're asking us to factorize it. So what is the first thing we can notice here? The 3's, right? We have b cubed and z cubed. So what would that imply? We know that we have so many different type of factorizations, but with the cubed ones, we know that we have sum of 2 cubes or difference of 2 cubes. In this case, it's going to be difference of 2 cubes because of this negative over here. If it was positive, it was going to be the sum of 2 cubes. So what is the general form of the difference of 2 cubes? It's a to the power of 3 minus b to the power of 3. So how would we factorize this? We would factorize it like this. So we can see that with the first bracket, we take the first two terms, write them as is, but we don't include the 3 this time, and we keep the sign, right? And then on the second bracket, we're going to square the first term, so which is a squared, and then we multiply the 2 terms on the second part here. But the difference is going to be the signs. Here we can see that the sign is negative, but we're going to flip the sign here and make it positive. So we're going to multiply the 2 terms, but flip the sign and make it positive. And then lastly, we also square the last term, which is going to end up being plus b squared, right? That is how we would factorize the difference of 2 cubes. If it was a positive, it was going to be the same procedure, except that we would have a positive here and it would be a negative here. Remember, the middle term on the second bracket, its sign, we flip it to the sign that we get here on the first bracket. So if it was going to be positive, it was going to be negative here. Keep that in mind. And so here we can see that we have a bracket. How are we going to deal with that? Not a bracket, a fraction. How are we going to deal with this fraction? Because it's not necessarily written in this form yet. Let us look at this 125. How can we write this 125? We know that 125 is 5 cubed, right? And so because it's 5 cubed, there is a 3 there. Okay, let's see how we can work with that. Let us go ahead and rewrite this. It's going to be b cubed over 5 cubed minus z cubed. And now on this fraction, we know that when the numerator and the denominator have the same exponent, which in this case is 3, we can easily take it out and put it at the top of the bracket like this. It's going to be b over 5 to the power of 3 minus z cubed. Aha. Okay, now we can see that it is written in this form. This form over here is written in this form. So our a can be b over 5, and then our b is z. And so if we're going to factorize this, we are going to end up with this. On the first bracket, our a is b over 5 minus, we keep the minus here for the first bracket, our b is z. And then here, we square the a, we square our a. Our a is b over 5, so we square b over 5. Change the sign, is going to be positive, multiply the 2 terms, so it's going to be b over 5 multiplied by z, right? And then we square the last term, we square the z, so it's going to be positive z squared. And then now, let us go ahead and simplify further and see if we can factorize further. Can we factorize this? It looks like we can't. If there was a 2 here, we were going to be able to factorize it. It was going to end up being something like b over 5 plus z squared. But we don't have a 2 here. So it's just one of the techniques you need to know, one of the things you need to see. But in this case, we can just leave it as is. So if we expand out this bracket, it's going to be b squared over, what is 5 squared? It's 25 plus, if we multiply this, we can take the z at the top. So it's going to be bz over 5 plus z squared. And this is going to be your final answer. You can leave it at it as is. So remember, when you look at a factorization question, look at the type of factorizations that you can possibly implement. In this case, we saw that, okay, there are 3's. Immediately when you see 3's and the sign over here, you must know, okay, I'm going to work with difference or sum of 2 cubes. And in this case, we established that we're working with difference of two cubes because of this negative sign. And yes, that is it for this video. Thank you.